Going on, everybody? How's it going? Ryan K. Hoggins, you're more than welcome to lurk at any time. How's it going? Thanks for dropping by. Not sure which class you're taking, but hello, all the same. Hope you're doing well. I'm Ian Douglas. I'm the author of this website, Tech Interview Guide, and hanging out tonight. We were gonna have a guest on the stream tonight, but I never heard back from them. They're in like a remote part of Asia, and I never heard back. So we'll try to reschedule to have them on the stream another time. Oh, you're in 100 Devs. Awesome. Have a good time. I'm still waiting to hear back from them about unbanning me from Discord. I posted a link to an email series that I authored, and they banned me from their Discord. I'm like, I'm just here to help people. Apparently, I put it in the wrong spot, so no big deal. But yeah, I'm waiting to get unbanned so I can jump back in their Discord and help people out. In the meantime, I stream on my own, so hello. Hope everybody else is doing good. But yeah, pay attention to Leon, because he's teaching some good stuff over there. So pay attention to class. Do your homework. All the stuff that I tell my own kids to do. Get lots of sleep, drink lots of water, all the good stuff. Hello to everybody else. Hope you're all doing well. I'm just going to go through Discord questions tonight. And why did that? I need to go correct something. Let me go. I tried to set up a Calendly link for people to come in on, come into the stream as guests, and something about it broke, and people started signing up for like weird times, and I'm not sure how or why. But I need to go fix that. Interview guide. So yeah, hope everybody else is doing good. So yeah, tonight's just going to be kind of a chill night. I thought I'd go through Discord, grab some of our anonymous questions that have been hanging out in there for a little bit, and we'll get some of those answered, and we'll get them processed up into short YouTube videos, all that kind of stuff. In a couple of weeks, I'm hoping to have Finance Singularity on the stream. We'll see. He's been lurking in chat from time to time, but I'm hoping that hopefully we can actually get him on the stream. So I think we're aiming for September 15th, maybe. But he's got a family and stuff like that, so it's an evening time on a Thursday. It's not always conducive to having folks on. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So let me go in and modify, edit. Yes, 90-minute stream. When can they book? Way in advance. I need to figure out, oh, there's the availability. Okay, Thursday. Oh, is that why? Let's do that. Let's see if that will limit it. I set it to a 90-minute session, but because it actually takes more than 90 minutes from when they actually join the stream to actually like finish the stream, I think that's maybe why it started, or was it going to be starting a little bit later. So I'm just going in and correcting those. So if I want somebody to be on the stream for 90 minutes plus 20 minutes, that's 110 minutes. Something like that. I'm going to change that. And then I need to go in and change. Because yeah, that's going to be, so it's 110 minutes, not 90 minutes. Okay, so let me go fix that. Home. Edit. All right. Live stream. 90 minutes of content. Twitch stream. Who can book? It is custom time of 110 minutes. All right, so that should fix that now. Otherwise, people were booking it off times when I want to start all my streams at the same time. Cool. Well, hope everybody else is doing good. Got a couple of other folks poking around in chat, so drop a hello. Let me know where you're from. If you are coming in from 100 Devs, hello, welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Let's see what else is going on. Yeah, Leon's still going strong in his class, so cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna hop into Discord. So we have a Discord community. You're welcome to come hang out with us. You can go check out the link over here in chat, and I will drop all these links that I put in chat. I'll be putting all these in the YouTube channel later on. So if you're watching on YouTube, hello on YouTube as well. Please give me a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think of the content. You'll see lots of other streamers and stuff showing up over here, and these are just streamers that I watch myself, and friends of mine, and people that I've had on the stream, and people that I would like to have on the stream, like Cassidy. I would love to have Cassidy on the stream. Cassidy, if you're ever watching, come on my stream. Come hang out with me on the stream. Love to have your insight, being in management and DevRel and all that kind of stuff. It'd be awesome to have you here. So yeah, anyway, we got a Discord community, and I've been kind of pooling some questions in an anonymous questions channel over there. So I thought I would just grab a whole bunch of those tonight, and we'll just go through those questions, and I'll paste them over in chat here as we go. And you'll see some other stuff happening in chat as far as like starting and stopping clips and things like that. That's just so my software can come back in and like process out the audio and the video and stuff later for the audio podcast, as well as the YouTube short videos. So we'll get all that stuff wrapped up, and then I'll call it a night. So if you can think of anybody that we should raid later on, let me know. We'll definitely raid into some other channels, or at least one other channel, because I can only raid into one. But yeah, cool. Let's grab some questions and we'll get this party started. We have an anonymous question from Discord asking, I have 5 years experience as a developer, but I'm not very good at data structures and algorithms. How can I best prepare for interviews, especially for a FAANG company? FAANG companies care a lot about different kinds of things, and a big part of their interview process is going to be something like LeetCode. And so as much as I'm not a fan personally of LeetCode, it is kind of a necessary thing to practice, because that is sort of the expectation, especially for FAANG level companies, that you're going to be really good at seeing a prompt and being able to come up with an algorithm on the fly and know the best data structure to use. There are technical challenges that will need, or that are possible to solve with different data structures. And depending on which data structure you choose will influence what we call the time complexity of the algorithm that you build. As an example, there's a technical challenge that I used to ask back in the day, back in like 2012, 2013 kind of range, that basically said, you've got a group of numbers, and I want you to find any two numbers in that group that add up to a target. So if I give you like a random group of numbers and I say, your target is 10, go find me the first two numbers in that group that add up to 10. Well, the way that I've worded that question is I'm very vague about how you're getting that data. And a lot of people assume that the numbers are in an array. And so they start, they imagine it's an array and they start processing it over it as an array. But when you think about what has to happen, you find the first number in the array, and then you have to search through the rest of the array looking for the other number to counterpart that will add up to the target. And so it's what we call an n-squared algorithm, because for each of n items in that list, you've got to go look at all the rest of them. Kind of like advancing forward through there. So it ends up being an n-squared algorithm. If you got a million things in that array, you're doing a lot of, potentially a trillion combinations to try to find what you're looking for. And that's not very effective. It's not very efficient. It'll work, but it'll be really slow. If you use a different data structure, like a hash or a hash map, then you could structure it in a way that says the value of the number in that group that I said is the key in your hash, and you just set the value to whatever you want, which means you could also just put it in a set and say, if this number exists in the set, then you know it's there. And you don't have to go search for that program, or like iteratively. You don't have to iterate through all of the keys in the set or in the hash to know if that other number is there. So if my target is 10, and the first number I find is a 4, I just need to know, is there a 6 somewhere else in here? In an array, I've got to literally search everything else in that array to know if there's a 6. In a hash or in a set, I can just say, is 6 a key? And it'll immediately tell me yes or no. I mean, there's a few steps of math involved, but it's what we call an O1 lookup, or an amortized O1 lookup, to figure out whether that key actually exists. And so it's a much, much faster way of doing it. You just take your target, you subtract whichever value you're currently looking at, and then you go see if the subtracted value also exists as a key. And if not, then you move on to the next key and you try from there. And so at at most, you pass over that data one time, and then you're doing a whole bunch of other O1 lookups to see whether these other values exist as keys. And so the data structure that you choose influences the time complexity of your solution. Bigger companies are going to care that you have studied that kind of stuff. Now, are they going to ask you that exact question? Probably not. If you're an entry-level dev, though, it's a pretty popular entry-level developer question. And so having an understanding on what a data structure is good for, what it's not good for, where it's commonly used is going to really help. So that would be the best way that I can offer to prepare, is you don't have to go memorize absolutely everything about how a particular data structure works. You just have to know, what is it good for? What is it not good for? Where is it commonly used? So a hash, it's really good for looking things up when you know the key. It's not as effective if you don't know the key and you have to search through all the keys, but hashes also take up a lot more memory than an array, because a hash is actually an array of linked lists. And there's like math involved of like taking the key and turning it into a value and modulo against the number of elements in that array of linked lists, and then it's checking for collisions. And so there's a lot going on under the hood. And so there's a little bit of extra processing power in there, and there's a lot more actual storage in memory when you're using a hash. And so where is a hash commonly used? Well, it's commonly used when you know that you're looking up a particular key of something. So knowing what it's good for, what it's not good for, and knowing where it's commonly used is going to be a really powerful tool when it comes to figuring out which data structure should I use. From there, figuring out the algorithms, and I talk a lot about this on the stream, around understanding the strategy of how to get to an answer and not memorizing specific algorithms, but understanding when I hear a problem that sounds like, how do I do such and such? You have an idea on the strategy of how to go solve it and not just a memorized solution. You can memorize high-level strategies like a backtracking algorithm. I act on a decision and then I repeat the work, and if it doesn't work out, then I undo a decision. It's every backtracking algorithm in a couple of steps. And so understanding those couple of steps and memorizing that, you can do that. Like, it's a lot easier to memorize just a couple of steps than to try to memorize the actual answer to every backtracking problem out there. That's not effective, and it's not a good use of our brain, frankly. So when the person that asked this question was saying, like, I'm not good at data structures and algorithms, how can I prepare for interviews? If you're going for a FAANG level company, you have to know data structures and algorithms. They're going to be quizzing you on it. They're going to be asking you questions about it, and they're going to expect that your answers choose the most performant data structure or use the memory in the most effective way, and that your time complexity is also kept in check, and that you're not doing extra steps that you don't have to do. That's what their interview process is all about. And if you don't have a good grasp of that, or you can't demonstrate that you have a good grasp of that, you're not going to get a job at FAANG. It's going to be much, much harder to try to get your foot in the door there. So unfortunately, the answer is practice and study. If you're not good at it, you have to practice it and you have to get better at it if you really want those jobs. Now, do you have to go get a FAANG job to feel successful in the tech industry? No, you really don't. I'm going to repeat that. You don't have to go get a job at one of the FAANG companies like Facebook, Google, Apple. You don't have to go get a job there to feel like you are a success. Other people will look at that and go, wow, you're successful because you got a really hard job. You know, you got a really good job going through a really hard interview process. But I think it's a better use of your time and a better use of your energy. Just go get any other job. I think getting a paycheck for any kind of job is a better measure of success than where you're actually working. Go learn a skill, go get a job with that skill. Voila, you are successful, in my mind. What's up, GBAV? Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. You like my little lurk. So if you've ever followed Babe Ross, it's Babe Ross with an underscore in between the names and 3 S's on the end. If you do a lurk in her channel, it's like the command is something like, they're after me lurky charms. It's hilarious. I thought about stealing it, but it would be blatantly obvious if I ripped it off. So I'm not going to do that. Cool. I'm going to go over to Discord and I'm going to mark that question as being answered. And we will move on to the next one. We had another anonymous question come in Discord asking, what's the safest way that a job applicant can answer the interview question, why did you quit your previous job? It depends what you mean by safe. There are a lot of things that are safe about how to answer that question. Some things are taken with a grain of salt by the hiring manager, depending on what you're saying. If it sounds like you're trying to avoid the answer, then they may press in a little bit, like, why are you not answering the question? But you also don't want to sound overly negative about why you left a job. Like, even if, and I've said this on stream, even if they deserve it, you don't want to bash them. You don't want to speak negatively about the company. You want to be respectful about the team that you were on, the fact that you were able to learn some things potentially and get some experience there. So what I would consider the safe way to answer that question is to deflect the question a little bit and talk about the good experience that you had there, even if it was bad. Try to find something good to say about it, but then deflect and talk about why that has prepared you for the job at their company, at this new company's job, and how all of your other experience brings you to this point where you are the ideal candidate for their job. So if I left a job because my manager was a bozo and couldn't stand working with them and was like super unhappy working with them as my manager, and someone said, why did you leave your job? I might talk about things other than my manager, say, I learned a lot at that job. I had the opportunity to work on some really interesting things. I got to work on such and such, and I would actually give some examples. And all of that has actually made me an ideal candidate for this role because I've learned this and this and this, and I was able to apply it in this way and have this kind of impact. And I'd like to come have that impact here, and then start talking about them and what got you excited about applying for their job. And so you kind of deflect a little bit. You're answering that you've left because you found this better opportunity. Now, if you've already quit your job and you're looking for a new one, that's different. If you quit your job to go to a boot camp or go back to school, that's different. Then you can say, I left my job so I could focus on my education. I've also heard of people, and I actually explained this a little bit myself when I was on my job hunt last year, when people are saying, why'd you leave your last job? I said, I gave the impression that I liked the job that I had, that it wasn't the best fit for what I wanted to be doing with my talent, but that I also wanted to focus full-time effort on finding a new job, but also take some time off for the holidays with my family. So one thing that I commonly say on the stream is, if you have a good story to tell, they don't really care. Like, honestly, as a hiring manager, like, if it's a good story and it's a good explanation about why you left a job, then it's fine. That's all they want to hear, is that you've thought through the question and that you've got, kind of a good answer. So I wouldn't worry so much about needing to be a safe answer, but I think the best way to answer that question is to not speak negatively about your employer. And then after like a sentence or two of what you learned there and what you did appreciate about working there, deflect onto why you want to come work at this other company. Now, if you're still employed at that job and you're interviewing and they say, why are you thinking about leaving company X to come work here? You can say, I've actually learned quite a lot over there. The direction that I want to take my career is more aligned with what your company's doing. I've had this kind of impact at that other job. I want to come have that impact here. And this is why I want to go in this direction. This is why I'm thinking about changing and so on and so on. You can start making that explanation about why you've applied for this job and the kind of impact that you want to have at their company. So by deflecting a little bit away from why you want to leave and more about why you want to join this new company, this also helps to kind of mask any sort of negativity that you might otherwise say about the company. Now, if they follow up and they press on like, what kinds of things did you learn? What kinds of projects did you work on? They might also get into some behavioral questions about, did you have any problems with any of your coworkers and so on? You can go read the email series that I write on how to answer those kinds of questions. There are lots of ways of answering those other kinds of behavioral questions, but this one specifically was about how do you answer why did you leave your previous job? Again, if you've got a good story to tell, they're not going to really worry too much about your answer. But I think the best way to answer it is to talk more about the future than about the past. At any point during the evening, if you would like to ask a question, you're welcome to drop it in chat over here. And if you are on Twitch, you can do bang ANON for anonymous. And I will go do that in the chat over here. And it will show you how you can ask a question anonymously in chat. And what this will basically do is you send a whisper over to my chat bot, and from there it'll pop up in the actual chat stream from there, and I'll see that and I'll be able to answer it. You do have to keep the length of that limited, because on Twitch you're only allowed 500 characters, and part of the bot's response in chat is we had an anonymous question kind of thing, and so it's already taking up a little bit of space. So you will have to keep that in mind, that if you are asking a question, make sure it's relatively short. If I need follow-up, I'll ask, and then you can just send another whisper to the bot and it'll show up as a response. So if I need more context or something like that. So you're more than welcome to ask a question anonymously at any time. You can also find me on LinkedIn and Twitter with the same username, IanDouglas736. And you're welcome to reach out and ask me questions on those platforms at any time. I'll try my best to answer your question on that platform. But I may also bring your question over to the anonymous questions channel in our Discord community, where I'll come back and I'll bring the question up like this. Your name's never going to be a part of it. You've heard me answer 2 questions already. We don't know the person's name, and that's on purpose. If you want to ask a question anonymously, I may still bring that question to everybody else, because maybe it's a really good question. And if you've got that question, chances are good somebody else has that question too. And so I'm all about sharing our knowledge. And so while I will answer you on that other platform, I also want to come on the live stream and answer the question here, just so I can get it on YouTube and get it on the podcast audio and stuff. So however you want to learn best. If you learn better by just listening in the background, if you learn better by having a video to watch, I want to make that as available as possible. And if you're available to come hang out with us live on Twitch, that would be fantastic as well. Speaking of the email series, so I mentioned that in the previous answer. I'm going to get ready to launch the technical and behavioral email series. So 2 different newsletters. So over the next couple of days, over the course of the weekend, I'm going to get the new sign up page launched for that. And so anybody new coming in, they're not going to get the old newsletter anymore. So if you really want that old series, you're going to have to sign up probably before Saturday or Sunday when I make that go live. And then anybody new signing up, they're going to get either the technical questions or the behavioral questions. And then you can choose how frequently you want those messages, and you can choose when you want those messages to start. You can log in at any time and say, you know what, I want to skip a week and then start getting these messages again. Like maybe you've got exams coming up or you're going to be on vacation. You can always log back in and say, this is the date I want to get the next message. And the system will honor all that. I've got a little bit of testing left to do, because some people like to use the Gmail plus sign for the aliasing, and I need to make sure that that's going to work properly. We've had some bugs with that in the past, where it sends the same message every 5 minutes when you try to sign up, and it floods your email box before I realize what's going on. But I also want to make sure that it's actually going to send properly and increment to the next message and stuff like that. So I have a little bit more testing to do, but I appreciate everybody that got back to me with user experience feedback on the sign up for that. If you want to sign up for the old mailing list, you can do so here. The link is right here on the bottom. It's just techinterview.guide/daily-email-series. You can go sign up for that. But over the course of this weekend, that sign up is going to show you the technical and behavioral newsletters as 2 different newsletters. Right now, they're kind of blended together. I've added content to it, and I've made the content a little bit longer. I've gone in and I've refreshed some of the answers. So even if you've gotten the old email newsletter, you can resubscribe at any time, and you can go get the updated content if you want. It's up to you. But I'm going to get that launched this weekend. I do have maybe half of the general series done, so I may launch that. But if I add new content, I Like I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain it. So I have like an order that I want these messages to go in. And so when I'm thinking like the preparation series, for example, the first couple of messages are how to make a resume, and then there's a couple of messages on how to do a cover letter, and then it's like what do you study and what kinds of projects should you make, and I've got some of the content done around these are the projects you should make, but I haven't finished all of the new writing on resumes and cover letters. And so what's going to happen is basically on my side, all these things are numbered in a particular sequence. When they actually go publish to the newsletter software that I wrote, the system just figures out what's the next message that Ian needs to get. And so it goes through and it looks at all these different files and says, okay, this is the next one that Ian needs to get, and then that's the message I get that day. But if I go in and I add a message that is numbered sequentially lower than the one that a particular subscriber just got, they're not going to get that new message because they're already past that number. So let's say I've got I've got, numbers 1, 2, 3, and then I jump to 10. Well, if you just got message 10, and then later that day I publish number 6, you're not going to get message number 6. You got to wait till the end and resubscribe, and then you'll get number 6 before you get number 10 next time. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to explain this content in a particular order. And so it will mean that, as I add new content, it may be in between older messages that you may have already gotten. And I'm trying to figure out if there's a good way that I can keep track of which messages you got. And then when you get to the end of the series, instead of sending you the last one saying, thanks, you're unsubscribed, is to go through and say, here's some other messages that you didn't get that were added, after you subscribed or something like that. I don't know. I need to figure that one out. Hey, Jen, good to see you in chat. Thanks for dropping by. I'm going to be on a podcast with Jen tomorrow, and we're going to be chatting about JavaScript and Python and why we should use JavaScript over Python. And this is going to be interesting for me because I'm a Python developer, and I would normally debate the other way around. Why should we use Python instead of JavaScript? But tomorrow I got some stuff up my sleeve. I got some things to say about JavaScript and why we should be doing some stuff in JavaScript. I think it'll be good. Bet's good to see you in chat as well. Can't stay long. You want to pop in and say hi? Appreciate that. Thanks for dropping by. Ryan, good to see you back in chat. I saw that Leon raided over to somebody else, over to Freckle Bites, and so yeah, good to have you. Good to have you in chat. Python was my first language. I'm using mostly JavaScript now. Yeah, I mean both languages are really good, general purpose kind of languages. JavaScript though is the only one right now supported by default in browsers. Now, some people have actually done some work to get Python in the browser, and it's actually a JavaScript library that will then read through and interpret Python code. And I haven't played with that yet, but I'm really interested to play with that. Not Digits, good to see you in chat. Thanks for coming by as well. I'll give you all some blinky lights and hello. Welcome. For dropping by today. By the way, I was thinking earlier, I need to slow down this blink. I was thinking this morning that I don't have any kind of warning of, by the way, bright flashing blinking lights anywhere like that on my stream. And so I'm actually going to be working on that code over the weekend as well. When I launch the new email series, I'm going to be working to slow down that flashing light. And I'm going to make it a little bit less random noise and whatever, just so it's not going to be causing problems. One of my kids actually mentioned a video game of seizure warnings and things like that, and I want to be sure that I'm taking that stuff seriously too. And so I'm actually going to be slowing down the blink so it won't be quite so rapid. So if you are coming by the stream and that is a sensitivity for you, you don't have to worry about oh no, somebody just followed Ian and those lights are going to blink and have to change your browser to something else. So I'm going to be slowing that down over the weekend as well. Flash warning would be good. Yeah. Chrissy Codes, good to see you. Hope you had some good time away on vacation. Looking forward to getting back into your stream as well. Your internet isn't great. You're excited to pop in. Awesome. Well, you're supposed to be on vacation or something, so I don't know why you're online listening to me, but hope you're having a good break. Cool deal. So yeah, we're just going through anonymous questions in the Discord channel. So if you're new here, you're welcome to come by Discord. We've got a bit of a growing community over there. We chat about all kinds of stuff. We chat about leak code. We do resume reviews or just, whatever comes up. It's a very low key kind of community, but everybody there wants to be really helpful. So you're welcome to drop by at any time if you'd like. no pressure. You don't have to be part of the Discord community, but it is another option there if you would like to chat about tech-related things. A few folks asked to add like a channel in Discord about, can we chat about projects? Like if we want to work on a project together, like how can we do that? I thought that was a great idea. So I actually made a project channel, and to date, we've had 0 messages in there, but it's in there. So if you ever want to go in and like discuss working on a project together, or if you've got project ideas or you want a project idea, drop a note in that project's channel and just say like, hey, like maybe for the folks coming in from 100 devs, like I got to work on this 100 devs project and I have no idea what to build. Like I'll give you ideas. I got tons of ideas of things that you can go build that I just don't have time myself to actually go build. But yeah, so anyway, and I mentioned earlier before some of you dropped in, I do have a way to ask anonymous questions in the channel as well. So we can do bang anon, and it'll show you, you can just send a whisper over to my chatbot and it'll show up in chat as an anonymous question. So if you ever want to ask a question, you're like, oh, I don't want my name to be on there, I don't want to sound dumb or anything like that. If that's something that you're concerned about, send a whisper over to my bot. If you do want to ping me offline, like off the stream, you're more than welcome to do that. I'm on LinkedIn and Twitter with the same username that I use here on Twitch, and you're more than welcome to connect with me there and ask questions. I'll do my best to answer it there, but I may bring the question back anonymously to the live stream because I think that there's a lot of value in sharing that knowledge with everybody. So the whole catchphrase of my channel is share what you know and we all win. And again, this channel is just my own ideas and perspectives. Being in the tech industry for a long time, I've been a hiring manager. And so I've got a lot of ideas about how to build engineering teams, how to scale engineering teams, how to work on software as well. Especially how to get ready for interviews. I mean, that's why I'm here. I got the whole website on Tech Interview Guide. And so there's a lot of free content over there. There's no ads at all, but we are raising money for a diversity in tech fundraiser. So any bits, any subs, any donations, it's 100% going into this, and you can do !money in chat, and it'll show you a URL that you can go to the webpage, and you can see all the money I make as a streamer, and all that money is going in a pot. I'm matching all the money in that pot, and we're going to give it all away at the end of the year. We gave away $5,000 back in the end of June, and we're going to try and raise another $1,500, and then in January we're going to reset. We're going to do like a full year. So Dark Spider, appreciate the follow. Thanks for that. So yeah, so welcome in, and Green Jenny, thanks for the follow as well. So as I mentioned, I do want to slow down the blink on the thing, just so it's not quite so like vivid and stuff like that, just to be sensitive to folks that have issues with blinky lights. But it was fun setting all that stuff on automate. I don't have to like hit a button on my Stream Deck anymore. I mean, I can hit a button on my Stream Deck and make them blink, but I don't have to now. You can just follow and it'll blink. You can also redeem channel points if you want to like set the tone. Right now I have it as orange and white, which is the logo colors for the company that I work at. I work at a company called Postman, and we make an API development tool. And so when I live stream for work, I usually have this on orange and white. I taught a webinar yesterday, so I just never got around to changing the color palette, but you're welcome to redeem some channel points. If you got 500 channel points, you can redeem those and change up the lights. Otherwise, yeah, we're just going to keep answering questions. So if you've got questions, you can absolutely drop them in chat. And if I miss it, please re-ask the question. I'm more than happy to help people out. It's all I'm here for. It's just to help people with my perspectives and ideas. Occasionally we have guests on the stream. We were supposed to have one on the stream tonight, but it didn't work out. But Sunday we'll be having another guest on the stream. So every Sunday through late September, I think the first week in October now, we've actually booked a guest every single Sunday that I'm streaming. I think I'm taking the long weekend off in September for Labor Day weekend. But other than that, I'll be streaming every Sunday, and we're going to have a guest every single Sunday. And then I think we're going to have a guest like every other Thursday as well. And so I've got a handful of folks that I would love to have on the stream as well. If anybody follows CM Griffing, I'm going to have Chris on the stream at some point. Finite Singularity, I'm going to have Mark on the stream at some point. Chrissy Codes, love to have you on the stream too. And kind of hear your perspectives on being in tech and getting into tech and learning programming and kind of the whole idea of learning in public as well. So go give Chrissy Codes a follow as well. You'll see her stream show up as this automated, like recurring shout out that you see here for White Panther, for example. So yeah, so you can also go check out the YouTube channel. We've got lots of playlists and stuff on there. Come on, YouTube. Oh, you know what? I forgot that I took that one out. I need to put that one back in. So if we go to youtube.com/Ian Douglas. I need to go put that static response back in. But if you go check out the YouTube channel, I've got a bunch of playlists on there for behavioral questions, technical questions, resume reviews, cover letters, like how to build a cover letter. We did one like a couple of weeks ago on how do I do company research? Like how do I even find a company where I want to apply for a job? I walk you through, here's how I research a company. And I think we researched like Khan Academy or something for someone in chat. And they're like, let's do Khan Academy. I'm like, let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. You can also redeem channel points if you want me to roast a job posting. I'm happy to do that. You can just paste the link in there, and I'll load it up, and I'll give you my thoughts as a hiring manager and as a senior engineer. I'll give you my thoughts on, is this a good job post? Does it sound like it's a good company? Is it like thumbs up, thumbs down? That kind of stuff. So I'm happy to help out in any aspect of career advancement or interview preparation. That's all I'm here for on my stream. Occasionally I do live coding, but most of the time I'm just here answering people's questions. So if you got questions, drop them in chat. Definitely going to ask ideas. Yeah, absolutely. That's all I'm here for. So feel free to drop questions in there if you want to connect with me. You can also DM me on Discord as well. So if you hop into Discord, you'll see my username and stuff like that. You're welcome to ask me questions over there. Again, I will do my best to sort of remove some of the context around the question and ask it in an anonymous way that doesn't identify you at all. So if you got questions, drop them in chat. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep answering some of the other anonymous questions that we've got in Discord. And you'll see some stuff happening in chat over here. It says like clip start and clip end, and a couple of things about like, hey, while Ian's answering this question, he is not paying attention to chat, stuff like that. So while I'm in the middle of answering a question, I'm not going to be like, hey, we got a raid, or like, hey, Chrissy codes. Like, I don't pay attention to chat at all. I just answer the question. And that's because I've got, so those things that happen in chat are basically markers, and I've got some software written that then goes back and it looks at the timestamp of those markers and it clips out that part of the video and it makes a shorter YouTube video of just that question and answer. And then that gets added to a playlist. And so all the playlists that you see over here on the YouTube channel are coming from live streams like this where someone has asked a question and I clip it out. And then from that short clip that I extract, I also pull just the audio out of that and I publish an audio only version as a podcast audio. And so if you just want to listen in on that, you can go to any major podcast distributor, Apple, Pandora, Spotify, Google, just about anywhere that you listen to a podcast. Just search for Tech Interview Guide Podcast, and you should get the audio stream. There's several dozen sort of previous episodes or whatever on there. I think I'm up to like 60 or 70 audio clips, and they're all fairly short. They're only like 5-10 minutes long at most. Most of them are somewhere between like 3 to 6 minutes, are like kind of on average. But I think the longest one I think I published was like 10 or 15 minutes long. And so I try to keep them really short. And over the course of this summer, they were publishing every day. Now that we're into the fall and I've got other stuff going on, I think I'm going to publish like every other day. But it also depends on how often I do these Q&A sessions as well and what kinds of questions you all have. So I also stream for work occasionally. So Ian the Postmanot is my work account. If you want to go give that account a follow, you're welcome to tune in. I do all kinds of stuff around Postman. I'll be on that account tomorrow on Jen's stream. So Jen up here in chat, you can go give Jen a follow if you like. And I'll be on Jen's stream tomorrow as Ian the Postmanot. So I won't be on this channel. But I'll probably host over to Jen's channel from here. So if you get a notification that I've gone live, I'm just going live a couple of minutes ahead of time to like raid into Jen's channel. Jen, if you're on Twitch, I don't even know, are we on Twitch tomorrow? I apologize for not looking too closely at the calendar invite. But if we're on Twitch, then I'll raid into that. Otherwise, we'll be here on Twitch. Sweet. So I'll go live as this account, and then I'll raid into Jen's channel just so it'll host, but I'll be logged in as Ian the Postmanot for doing the live stuff because I'm on the clock. I got to talk about APIs and I got to talk about Postman and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to the chat with Jen tomorrow. Cool. Let's keep answering some anonymous questions and we'll dive in from there. Got some other stuff about some 3D printer stuff that I need to take care of, but that's later. All right, let's hop in and grab another anonymous question. I kind of feel like some of these I've already answered. I don't think I've answered this one though. Cool. All right, here we go. We had another interesting question come in anonymously over Discord that asked, will wearing a mask to an interview affect my chances of getting the job if the company doesn't require people to wear masks? First of all, I applaud your sensitivity to this. As a parent, I'm constantly worried about my kids getting sick. With the pandemic, everybody being at home was kind of a good thing for us. We kind of settled into a routine of all that. And when we went outside, every one of us wore a mask. Nowadays, it feels like a lot fewer people are wearing masks. I think if you are still one of the relatively few that we see out in public wearing a mask, first of all, you have my virtual high five. I still try to wear a mask as much as I can when I'm out in public or if I'm going to a conference or something like that, unless I'm speaking, in which case I want to remove my mask because there are people with hearing impairments that would rather read lips. This is also why I don't put my mouth right behind the microphone and hide my mouth so that people watching the audio later, if they don't have closed captioning or the YouTube closed captioning doesn't work well, that they can read my lips, hopefully. And hopefully I'm enunciating well enough that the lip reading works. I wouldn't worry too much if the company doesn't wear masks. If they don't require you to wear a mask, you can always just say like, hey, I'm more comfortable in a mask while I'm indoors, being around people that I don't know. Whether or not you've been vaccinated, that's your personal choice. Some companies will actually require it. If you are of a personal belief that you require vaccinations for yourself, great. I have no problem saying that me and my family are all vaccinated. We want to stay healthy and we try to avoid situations and circumstances where we're going to be around unvaccinated people. Again, just by personal choice. We would rather not be sick and we would rather not take the chance of anything bad happening. So I'm not going to get political with my answer in any way, shape, or form. And my forum and my live stream, you know that I tend to stay away from political issues a lot. I think they can be very polarizing, and that's not what I'm here for. This particular question, though, is specifically asking, is it going to affect my interview if I show up in a mask and the company doesn't require it? The one thing I would say is maybe ask at the company, is there anybody that's hard of hearing that would have a problem if I wore a mask? Otherwise, I would prefer to wear a mask and stay masked throughout the interview, unless you're drinking water or if they're inviting you out to a meal or something like that. But even that would be a personal choice. If you want to wear the mask until you take a bite of food and put your mask back, again, that's your choice. It shouldn't affect anything negatively at all. I would also wager that in most cases right now, still, a lot of companies are okay with being remote. And so you might not even have an in-person interview. If you are at a position where you're interviewing for a job and they do expect you to be on the in the office, then you can ask them what their preference is. If they require vaccination, if they require masks, you can certainly ask the recruiter about those kinds of questions before you show up to the office. And you can let the recruiter know, like, hey, I'm showing up in a mask and that's just my personal preference. And, I'll do my best to enunciate and speak clearly so that people can understand me. And I'm open, if they need me to repeat things. But my personal preference when I'm indoors with people that I don't know, I'm going to be wearing a mask. I think the company's going to be okay with that. So I appreciate that someone asked this question. I think it shows a lot of sensitivity to kind of social settings and things like that. I don't think it would negatively affect your interview, though. Green Jenny, good to see you in chat. Thanks again for the follow a few minutes ago. Also, the hiring manager may have personal opinions about people who wear masks. There's always risk. Yeah, I mean, there's always a chance of bias no matter what, and it can be conscious or unconscious. If it's something where the people at the company are very anti-mask, then again, that's a personal choice. And that's also something that hopefully you can find out as part of your company research. Even by talking to the recruiter before you even get to that interview stage. And you can say, hey, if I have to be at the office, I'm going to be wearing a mask for the foreseeable future. Is that going to be a problem? And if they're like, yeah, we don't really wear masks around here, or you can straight up ask, like, if I'm at the office, like, I'm going to be wearing a mask, is that going to be an issue? And if they kind of give the impression of like, yeah, you're going to be the only one in a mask, then you have to, like, similar to what I say with company research, is ask yourself the question, is that okay with me? Is it okay with me that I know the answer to that question now of whether I'm going to be like, dealing with people that are not wearing masks? So whether they're like standing over my shoulder trying to help me with things and they're breathing on me, is that going to bug the heck out of me if I've got, concerns about that sort of thing? You need to weigh that as a personal option for yourself. If you want to wear a mask, I think you should be like, I think it's fine. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, that's okay. I'm going to be wearing a mask if I'm around other people. Now, that said, I don't wear a mask now 100% of the time that I go out. But if I'm going out shopping, and especially when I'm at like tech conferences where I'm going to literally be sitting like around a lot of other people, like dozens or hundreds of other people, heck yeah, I'm going to be wearing a mask. And I'm waiting to, get the green light to go get my 4th booster because I'm going to get vaccinated. That's my choice, and that's who I am, and that's who I'm going to be, and I'm going to stay as healthy as I can. I know that it's not even really a vaccination. It's just the antibodies to help prevent a worse infection. So it's not like you're actually preventing getting, COVID-19 or anything like that, but it will drastically reduce. I mean, my understanding is it will drastically reduce symptoms, and, if you do get sick, it won't be as intense and won't last as long. That's my understanding. Plus anecdotal from hearing other people like getting vaccinated and then getting COVID. I've never tested positive. I mean, I've tried being really safe about it. And, but it's still something that weighs on my mind for sure. All right, well, I'm going to go mark that one as being complete. So I'm starting to run out of questions in Discord. So I'm going to go probably spend some time over the weekend as well and like go look through all my channels again. So Twitter, LinkedIn. I occasionally pull questions off of Quora. If I get requested to answer a question on Quora, I'll sometimes bring those in as well and just say, this is a question that I was asked to answer. And again, it's going to be anonymous. I'll remove as much context as I can and then answer them on the stream. So if you've got questions, feel free please to throw them in chat, and I'm happy to answer anything there. I can't tell you what I'm drinking, but I'll give you a big hint. I got my new supply of hint watermelon water today. So I'm a happy guy. I might have to double up that order though. I'm going through a lot more of that watermelon water lately. Last winter they came out with a watermelon mint and it was amazing. And so I suggested, I'm like, hey, you need to start making that in the 1 liter bottles. And they're like, oh, actually, we're discontinuing that. I'm like, no, that was like my favorite ever. Now I'm debating whether I can just get like some mint oil and like drop it in there. I guess not oil, but like something else that would like mix mint flavor in with the watermelon. All right, let's grab this question next. Oh, we got a question in chat. Wapapow. That's a great username. Wapapow asks, is it possible to get back into a less senior role after being out of the market for 4 years? Yes, but I would say you probably don't even need to take a lesser position if you've been out for a while. So let's dive in on this one a little bit. We got a question show up in chat asking, is it possible to get back into a less senior role after being out of the market for 4 years? I think that's a good question. If you've had any kind of break from the job market for whatever reason, whether it was the pandemic, if you wanted to take some time off for family, if you needed to take time off for any kind of reason, it's none of the other company's business why you necessarily took that time off. In some cases, it's illegal for them to ask. They're going to be curious about what you did over those 4 years. But I think most of that curiosity is going to stem from, did you keep your skills sharp over those 4 years? Part of me wonders, and maybe you can clarify this in chat for me, part of me wonders if the question stems from I've been out of the industry and I want to take a less senior role specifically because I need to get caught back up on technical skill. Or a lot has changed in 4 years. Everybody's using AWS now and I need to go study up on that. And so I'm maybe not going to qualify for a senior level role because I don't know AWS, just as one example. I would suggest, though, if you've held a senior level job, I think you could get back into a senior level job. It's like you don't have to know everything when you go get a job, especially, even when you've been out of the market for a while, getting a new job, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to remember everything. I think it's still possible to go get a senior level role without worrying too much about that 4-year break. Now, if it was a 4-year break and you literally did no other technical work of any kind whatsoever, then I think it would be a little bit trickier to convince a company to bring you back in at that senior level. Again, they're going to want to know, what have you been doing over those 4 years? Excuse me. They're going to be wondering, what have you been doing over that time to keep your skills sharp? What kinds of projects have you been doing? Why is that particular company going to be interested in you coming on their team? What is it about, and vice versa, what is it about their company that has you interested in going to work for them as an employee? These are questions that are going to come up. Looking through chat, no tech work really exactly. You want to refresh your skills. A lot has changed. So I'm willing to just go for less pay and then train, but I find it hard with the recruiters. They heard I was a senior and then they shoot for the senior level role and you were a failed entrepreneur. Okay, so I got thoughts and ideas here. I love the fact that you took a chance and it's okay that you failed. As a hiring manager, I would look at that and go, sweet. All right, let's bring you back in. I did that myself to a degree. I quit a full-time job and I went into full-time freelance work. My wife was also working. We had health benefits from her job. And so it wasn't a risk to kind of like where we were as a family at the time. But taking time away from a tech job in order to try your hand at entrepreneurship, I think is fantastic. So kudos to you for taking that risk, even though it didn't work out. But you took a 4-year time off from full-time work to try to work on some sort of startup. And I think that that's a great idea. Having that story to tell, I think, is still a compelling way to show your value to a company. And again, I don't think you necessarily have to take a lesser role. Even in my role, like I've been doing development work professionally for 26 years, off and on, a few management roles here and there and a couple of director roles here and there. But I've always been really hands-on with tech. Even during the couple of years that I spent in management and director level roles, I was still finding some way to code. If you've been away from tech and you've not been coding and you just feel like your skills are a little rusty, I think you could spend a little bit of time practicing and getting back and getting ready for the interview, and then just go back into the senior level role. Everybody coming in on a new role has some kind of training they're going to need. Very few people are going to hit the ground running and know 100% of everything they need to know to do that job on day one at that job. I was chatting with somebody less than a week ago and basically told them, like, no matter how senior you are in the industry, like I've been doing this a long, long time. I started a job back in January. That first day on the job, everybody is a junior dev. Everybody's a junior dev, their first day on the job. Everybody has things to learn. And so kind of going back to the example that I had earlier, if you don't have experience in AWS and that company does a lot of stuff on AWS, you don't have to go learn AWS in order to go apply for that job. You can go apply for that job based on the skill that you have and say, this is something that I know that I'm going to need to work on. Here's my plan to get up to speed on this. Over my first 90 days on the job, I'm going to be studying and I'm going to aim to get my like AWS architect certification or something like that. Or like there's a couple of like kind of entry level certifications that you can get. and just let the company know, like, that's my plan to get up to speed. I'm not going to be an expert in that, but I've got all these other skills and all this other experience that I'm bringing, and I'm going to bring that to the job, and I'm going to learn AWS while I'm here. I think most companies are going to be fine with that. Now, if it's like an AWS architect job and you don't have that skill, I would question, why are you applying for the job if you don't have that skill? But if a recruiter reaches out and they say, hey, we think you'd be a good fit for this, even if you say like, I really want a lesser role, companies feel weird about that. They're like, well, if we bring you in at that intermediate level, are you going to turn around and leave as soon as you find something else as a senior level? I think it's okay to reapply as a senior dev and then just get back up to speed on what you need. If it's a question, though, of am I prepared enough to go even interview, then that's entirely different. Like, can you sit down and do like leak code problems? Can you sit down and talk about behavioral questions? Can you sit down and actually do like a small project in some programming language? If your programming skills are rusty, then I would say you're going to need to focus some time on that. But yeah, even though a lot of architecture and advancements have been made over 4 years, you don't have to go become an overnight expert on any of those things. I would say be confident in what you know and the projects that you have done. Speak about that experience. Speak about the other experience about running a business and what you worked through to try to get that business up and running and how that brings value to them as a business because of who you are. This is like, you get all that as a package deal. If you hire me, you get all of my skills, you get my failed entrepreneurship, you get all of that coming in. And they'll make the assessment of how well you're going to fit in based on the need that they have on the team. More follow-up in chat. I feel like I'm a good learner, so I know if I got the opportunity to learn on the job, I'd do great. Exactly. Everybody's going to do fine on the job once they're there and you're working in those technologies every day. I guarantee even the people on the team that know AWS really well, they're still going in and looking up documentation. They're still hitting Stack Overflow. They're still Googling those answers. You don't have to be an expert. You know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. Their job is to figure out whether or how well you fit in on their team based on those skills and the background and what you talk about during those interviews. So I would say stay at that senior level. Don't take a step backwards. You don't have to take a step backwards in your career to take a lesser role in order to like get back into tech. I just want to work for the tech stack differences. Tech stack differences exhaust me. Investing the time and energy in learning in a specific stack is exhausting. Without knowing I'll have a job in what I'm learning, it can make me dizzy. Jumping in and out of stacks to match a job direction that looks appealing one day versus the next opportunity that has a different one. That goes off on a little bit of a different theme here. That's basically saying, like, what should I study? What should I learn? What kinds of projects should I make that are going to be valuable to everybody? As opposed to this job wants React and this job wants Django and this project or this company wants, Elixir and this company wants Go and this company wants me to learn Rust and, now I got to go learn 50 things just to go apply for jobs. No, don't do that. Double down on what you know. If you know Python really well, do all of your interviews in Python and say, I'm a senior level dev. Here's a track record of me learning things in a hurry, applying that skill, and becoming effective in that skill. That's all you need to demonstrate. And during that interview process, if they say, well, we really need you to get up to speed on Rust, great. I'm going to go do a quick little project on Rust. I'll get back to you in a week and show you the progress that I can make in 1 week. And then we can talk about like moving forward in the interview process. And go rebuild a project that you've already done, but figure out how to redo it in Rust. There are sites that you can use out there. I'll paste one in chat. It's called Programming Idioms. It's one of my favorite sites, Programming Idioms. And let's do Python and Rust. So let's say I know Python really well and I need to go learn Rust in a hurry. I'm going to go to this webpage. I'm going to drop this in chat and I'll drop this in the YouTube description and the podcast audio description as well. Go check out this link. This link is going to show you side by side And it's programming-idioms.org for anybody listening to the audio. On this website, you can list any 2 programming languages that they have in their catalog, and they're going to show you a side-by-side comparison. If you do it this way in Python, this is how you do it in Rust. For declaring variables, how to iterate over lists, how to make functions, how to build classes if it's object-oriented, how to do debugging. Like, it's going to show you absolutely everything that you need to know to go from one programming language to another. Tell them you're going to go build a project in a week, and show them the progress that you make in a week, and look how effective I can be. And so it's all about selling them on the demonstration of your skill. And I would say just go do all of your interviews in Python. If they absolutely require that you have Rust experience, then I would question why they're even interviewing you if they know you don't have that experience. It means they see some other potential in you. Not just the recruiter. Like, if you get through the recruiter call, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It means that you can impress somebody who's maybe not even technical. But if they have to hand you off to a hiring manager, and that hiring manager is willing to interview you, that means that they understand that you don't have that particular skill, but they believe you have the potential to come and fill that role. That's why they're continuing to interview you. So lean into that. They already believe in you. Use that to believe in yourself and go, all right, they believe in me this much. They think I'm already a possibility. Keep telling yourself that. Work through their interview process, but interview in Python. You don't have to become a Rust expert to go try to interview in Rust. I think that that's a big fallacy, is people see these job descriptions and go, okay, well, I got to become a Rust expert. And then they get into that interview and they're like, oh, I don't really remember how to do this stuff. And now I look dumb. It's like, yeah, go to the interview and interview in the language you know really well. So double down on what you already know. If you know Python really well, I use that as my example because that's my fallback. That's the language I'm going to fall back to every time. If you ever interview me, I'm going to do it in Python and explain, I've done a little bit of Go, I've done a little bit of JavaScript, I've done a little bit of Ruby, I've done a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I've done a little bit of a lot of things. Whatever you need me to do on the job, I'm going to get up to speed on that. And I'm going to be effective in that role using whatever technology you want me to be, but I'm going to interview in Python because I want to show you the strengths that I have to show you what I can really lean into and how effective I can be. If you want me to learn something else, I'll go learn something else. Awesome. I appreciate the conversation for sure. You have 2 second-round interviews next week, so it's good to hear for your self-esteem. Yeah, I mean, if they're still interviewing you, that means they already see that potential in you. So just remind yourself of that. If just put it on a little post-it note, put it on your screen. They're continuing the interview because they see my potential. Write a little word of affirmation to yourself, like, they see my potential. Like, slap that on your monitor somewhere that you can see that. And whenever you're like nervous about it, it's like, no, they saw my potential. They chose to keep interviewing me. G, who is Jay. Appreciate the resubscribe, by the way. Thank you for that. And still love the work you do. That's great. Appreciate that very much. I got my job at a FAANG company in a language that the interviewer didn't know. That's interesting. I'm curious what that was. Note on the monitor is a great idea. Yeah, so that's like my other favorite study tip. Like, so we had a question earlier about if I'm not good at data structures and algorithms, like, what do I study to get a FAANG job? It's like, well, you're gonna have to study data structures and algorithms, but you don't want to memorize, these are the 30 lines of code I need to do this particular like sliding window problem or something like that. What you want to do is you just want to write down a couple of lines of notes of, for a sliding window, how big is the window? How much do I slide it at a time? Write that on a post-it note, put that on the edge of your monitor. And so when you see a prompt, you're like, oh yeah, okay, well, this kind of sounds like a sliding window problem. And to you, it kind of looks like I'm just kind of staring off into nothing, but I'm actually staring at that post-it note on the edge of my monitor going, does it sound like that one? Does it sound like that one? Does it sound like that one? I'm just kind of glancing at where all those post-it notes are. And it's like, yeah, it sounds like a sliding window problem. So let me try this strategy. And it's amazing how much faster you'll get through those technical challenges when you just figure out those really high-level strategies. And one of the things I explained earlier is like backtracking. It's like one of my favorite algorithms. It's like, You loop over a decision, you act on a decision, you repeat it, and if it doesn't work, you undo the decision and you move on to the next thing in the loop. It's every backtracking algorithm in 4 steps. So write down those 4 steps, write the word backtracking on there, slap that on your monitor. And if you go to a technical interview and they throw a challenge at you, you're like, does that sound like it's backtracking? Like, should I try a thing? And if it doesn't work, like undo it and try something else? Like, does that sound like backtracking, like solving a maze? Walk down, find an intersection, figure out which direction I'm going to go and go down that direction. If it doesn't work out, I undo that decision and make a different decision and try that path and maybe undo that decision. It's backtracking in 4 steps. So write that down. And if it sounds like backtracking, imagine what those 4 steps are going to be, see whether that's applicable, and try it. I mean, it'll take you 20, 30 seconds. Does this sound like backtracking? Let me walk through that really super high level. Does that sound, nah, it doesn't sound right. Maybe it's this kind of problem. Let me walk through those like 2 or 3, steps or whatever. And so if you can study like the top 6 or 7 algorithms and write out those high level strategies, put those around your monitor, along with those words of affirmation, like they see your potential. That's why they're interviewing you. It'll be a big help. It'll be a big help for sure. Yeah, I know who you are, G. I didn't want to say your name on stream. I didn't know if it was public or not. But looking forward to hanging out tomorrow night. So Lucas and I do Friday night tabletop gaming virtually, and looking forward to getting back into that. They did a one shot or something a couple of nights ago, and I wasn't able to join the one shot, so I felt like I was missing out on some stuff. But so yeah, if anybody else has questions, if I missed any other like stuff going by in chat, if you asked a question and I missed it, please re-ask the question. I absolutely want to be here to help people out. And Cynthia V, appreciate the follow as well. See the lights went all blinky for you in the background. So welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community. We do have a Discord community if you want to go check that out. And I've also got an email series if you want to go get like a recurring email. Right now they're sending every day. This weekend I'm launching the new email series. And so I've got a technical newsletter and a behavioral questions newsletter. And it's basically like, why as a hiring manager I even care about asking these questions. So it's not, here's how to go answer it perfectly, but here's some generalizations that you're going to need to know. And then also why I'm asking this question, but also from the perspective of, am I asking for your experience here, or am I asking for an opinion here based on how I word questions differently? And so my newsletters are not how to answer it perfectly, but understanding why we even ask the question. So it's from a hiring manager's perspective and an interviewer's perspective on why I ask the kinds of questions that I do in a technical interview. And it's applicable to a lot more than just technical interviews, but most of the content is technical in nature. The behavioral questions one, though, I think could apply across a lot of different kinds of jobs. And so if you're looking for a career advancement and you're worried about behavioral questions and what kind of questions they're going to ask, the behavioral questions series is going to be just, I don't know, it's like 20, 25, maybe 30 messages of just behavioral questions. And you get a different one every day. Now, the new sign up, you're going to be able to set the pace of how frequently you get those messages. So if you don't want them every day, you want them every 3 days. When you sign up, you can say, I want to subscribe to this and I want a message every 3 days. And you can also go in and you can set what day you want the next message. So like if you want to sign up for the technical and the behavioral one, but you don't want them both every day, you can say, I want the technical one to start tomorrow and I want that every 2 days. So you get one on Friday, you'll get one on Sunday, then you get one on Tuesday. And then you could say, okay, and then the behavioral one, I want every 2 days, but I want that one to start on Saturday. So on Friday, you get a technical one. Saturday, you get a behavioral one. Sunday, you get a technical one. Monday, you get a behavioral one. And so you can figure out your own staggering on that if you like. And then I've got 2 more newsletters that are kind of in the works. I may launch the general one, but I'm still adding content to it. So, I mean, it'll definitely put some pressure on me to finish that content. But I'm going to be launching those new series on the weekend. So watch out for that. I'll probably announce it again on Sunday's stream just to tell people how to sign up. But it'll be the same link that you see right here for the daily email series. It's just the sign up page will look a little different. You can certainly sign up for the one that's going out now. That one's still going to continue to send until all of the current subscribers finish getting that one. And then that one's going to shut down. And then everybody new subscribing is basically going to be getting the new newsletters instead. Finished your training for interviewing, so you'd love to learn for me how to do it and do it well. I don't know that I do it well. I guess I do it well enough. But yeah, interview training is interesting. And kudos to your company for even giving you well, I mean, you work at a FAANG company, so they kind of have to do training, but a lot of companies don't train people how to interview other people. So it's like, hey, Lucas, go interview this Ian guy. And you're like, I've never interviewed anybody. I guess I'll go get a question off of LeetCode and, hope I don't look dumb if they ask me questions, like, or it'll be whatever question you last did on LeetCode or something like that. And if they happen to have done that question themselves and they remember the algorithm, then it looks impressive to you and it might be a false positive on a hire. So there's all kinds of weirdness going on with that. So, yeah, I'm always happy to hear when companies actually do interview training. I think it's great. You've done 10 hours already, another 5 in training. Awesome. That's cool. Hit me up on Discord though, because I got some other stuff that I want to chat with you about interviewing. Cool. So if anybody else has questions, feel free to drop it in chat. Again, you can do the exclamation point anon if you want to figure out how to do an anonymous question. Hey, Till Carlos just showed up. Good morning over in Vietnam. Bad luck with the collaboration. Let's try another time for sure. So Till was going to be on the stream, but we had kind of a miscommunication on what time we were starting and getting all that stuff organized. So apologize for that, but it happens when we're around the world from one another. But I appreciate you dropping by. So Till, if you want, drop the links in chat. So let me do exclamation point guest. So this is something that I had set up for who is going to be on the stream. So Till has a couple of links that you all might be interested in. It's pairing.dev and staticteam.com. So these are 2 startups that Till is a part of. And Till also does, as I recall, like contract recruiting. And so I was really interested in hearing their experience around like what's it like to recruit people around the world and how do you recruit differently based on where they're from and stuff like that. So tillcarlos.com is your personal page. Awesome. So yeah, we're definitely going to get Till on the stream at some point. I'd love to pick your brain on all things recruiting, get your opinion on like resume formats and CV formats and all kind of stuff too. So awesome. Thanks for dropping by. I appreciate that. So yeah, we're just we're making it a Q&A night. Had some folks come in and ask some really good questions. We've also got a Discord community and some people are asking questions on there. So I'm bringing those in anonymously for the sake of the stream and the podcast audio and stuff like that. So I'm booked out. We'll figure something out. People have booked, but then they don't necessarily show up. Like I was supposed to have a guest 2 Sundays ago and they didn't show up. Their laptop broke like the night before, so they couldn't be on the stream. So there is possibility that there would be like a last minute kind of thing. So if you're open to it, it might be a little more conducive maybe for keep you in mind for like a Sunday stream or something, since it's early morning for you in Vietnam and it's like late evening for me over here. That if we could flip that somehow, if I could do it like my morning, it would be like your evening instead, if that would be a little bit better. So we'll see if we can aim for a Sunday maybe, or a Thursday. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But Till, I appreciate you wanting to be a guest on the stream for sure. Awesome. Gifted a 1-month sub. Appreciate that, Lucas, as well. So I also came up with this, and Lucas, I don't want you to feel bad about this, but I actually chatted about this a couple of streams ago. I made this command called don't sub. So y'all know, like, it's no surprise I'm raising money for diversity in tech. That's just kind of my ongoing kind of thing. And my idea is when you subscribe to my channel or when you gift a sub, it will stop people from getting that, like, a couple of pre-roll ads when you first try to join my channel, which I can't shut off. I know some other streamers have figured out how to shut that off, but I think that they might be partners and they can just go in and shut off all their ads. But as an affiliate, I don't think I can shut off that pre-roll ad. But what I did is I actually signed up for Twitch Turbo, which for the cost of subscribing to 2 other Twitch channels basically gets rid of all of your ads. And so it's like $8 a month or $9 a month or something, where subscribing to 2 channels on Twitch to get rid of their ads, you're paying $10 a month. So for $9 a month, you get rid of ads everywhere. And you get like other emojis and things like that too. And there's some other perks to being a Twitch Turbo user. But when you subscribe to my channel, I only get half of that money. Twitch only gives me half of that, and I've got to wait like 30 days plus to even get that money. And so it basically sits in a bank account until it pools enough, and then they send me the money. And so all of that money is going into the Diversity in Tech fundraiser anyway, and I'm matching whatever that money is. So when you spend $5 to subscribe, I get $2.50. I also put in $2.50, and so at the end of the day, $5 goes into the Diversity in Tech fundraiser. If you really want to help out, I would ask just straight up donate $5. Then all $5 of your money goes in here, and I add another $5, and so it effectively doubles everything that way. And so it's not that I don't want subscribers, but it will be a lot more effective for the fundraiser if people just donate bits, like cheer bits, or just straight up donate and things like that instead. That's all. So I appreciate the subs. I think it's great. Do I have a link for the fundraiser? I mean, it's just always ongoing. So there's no sign up link or anything for it. You can just donate cheer bits, like whatever, here on Twitch. And I've got ! money that you can do in chat, and it will take you over to a page where I have full disclosure on this is all the money I make as a streamer. And I break it down like, here's how much I make on subs, here's how much I made on ads, here's how much I made on Prime subs and PayPal donations and things like that. So any donations that come in, any bits that get cheered. So cheered bits, I get almost 100% of that, if not 100%. The donations that come in, if you send that through Twitch, I think I get pretty darn close to 100% of that money. Sometimes there's like maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3% transaction fee, depending on the platform that gets used. Like I think PayPal maybe keeps like 1% or 1.5% or something like that. But I get most of that money that you donate, and then I match all that money. So that's the idea here. Is we want the fundraiser to be as effective as possible. And so I appreciate the subs, I really do. And it means a lot that you're thinking of community in that sense. And so I really appreciate gift subs. But my thinking is if we want to have a bigger impact on diversity in tech, then just a straight up donation is going to be more valuable as opposed to Twitch keeping a bunch of the money. Not that I want to don't report me to Twitch, by the way. I don't want to get kicked off of Twitch, but Twitch needs to make money, and I get that. That's why they have ads and they keep a portion of the proceeds and whatever, because we're using their platform to like stream all this information. So I'm not trying to disparage that. And that's also why I'm encouraging, like, just go sign up for Twitch Turbo, because that's how they will offset the ad revenue that they wouldn't otherwise be getting. And so I'm a big fan of like, yeah, it's $9 and I get rid of all the ads. Like, I'll do that. I do that for YouTube as well. I pay for a YouTube subscription so I don't have to watch all the ads. That's just my personal take on it. So, I mean, I'm not going to stop people from subscribing, and I can't stop people from gifting subs. I think the only thing I could do is like stop a hype train from happening. But, if a hype train happens, a hype train happens. And I think that that's totally fine. Quadibo, if that's how you pronounce your name. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you dropping by. So we're just chatting about like subscribing to the channel or not. And so I want to raise diversity in tech. That's my whole platform. This is something that I very strongly believe in. Back in June, we were able to give away $5,000. And well, actually, I want to correct that. We gave away $3,500 as a community. My employer matched another $1,500, and I just did the final bit of paperwork for that today. So hopefully that money's going over to Hack the Hood. That we gave them the $3,500 at the end of June, and Postman is sending over another $1,500 as soon as they verify all the paperwork and stuff. So yeah, so I'm excited about that. At the end of the year, because that $1,500 is like the maximum contribution for the company for the calendar year, the $1,500 that we're raising now to give away at the end of the year is just going to be the money that the community raises plus whatever I match. And then in January, we're going to reset, and we're just going to like raise money all year round. And then Postman will match that at the end of the year. So I'm also still trying to find an organization to donate this next $1,500 to, or however much we raise, plus my match. So if anybody has, so a couple things. They have to be a registered 501(c) US charitable organization. So that I can go in and I can look at their financials and look at their tax tax submissions and all that kind of stuff to see. I want to see how they're spending the money. I want to make sure that the money is actually going to diversity in tech, and that it's not just some like shell nonprofit company that's like pocketing the money. Like you see some of these like charitable groups online and on TV and stuff like that. They're like, oh yeah, go, you know, feed starving children, and they keep like 95% of the money that you donate. So I don't want it to be like that. So I want to be able to check out the company and go, yeah, this one sounds like a good company to put that money into. And so they have to be a registered charitable organization. And one of their primary mission statements is that they are there to raise diversity in tech. Not just that it's a charitable group, but their mission is to raise diversity in tech, because that's what I care about. Did I see the thing about Apple and the Indian caste system? I did not. No. If you got a link to it, send that over to me at some point. I'd love to take a look. It vaguely rings a bell that something happened, like, was it 2 months ago? 2 or 3 months ago? I vaguely remember seeing something in the news, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Cool. So yeah, so you got the command right there, bang donate. So yeah, you can use, so in the about me section down below, you can do the donation through that, or you can do bang PayPal, and you can just send the money straight to PayPal, and all that money is going to go straight into that. So as I see those messages come in, I usually update all of this stuff like right before I go live as a stream. So I go through and I scrape through all my PayPal income, I scrape all my data off of Twitch, and I'm working on automating some of that stuff too, so I don't have to like go in and like manually update this stuff all the time. So Driftwood, good to see you. Thanks for dropping by as well. So yeah, we're just hanging out, just answering some questions from Discord, and a couple of folks in chat had some things to ask. So yeah, we're just chilling, we're just hanging out. And then see, we've got a guest on Sunday. Sunday we are going to have, Assad is going to be on the stream. So they are a senior developer at Stripe, and our conversation is going to be, how do we stand out as a candidate? Like, what makes somebody really stand out to a company like Stripe? What's that going to be about? So let me go check this link. I'll go open it. I'll go read it a little bit later on. Big tech giants confront ancient Indian hierarchy. Maybe I don't remember this. No, I'll go read it later. No worries. Thanks for sending that over. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so senior developer at Stripe. So Assad is going to kind of talk to us about like what kinds of projects, what kinds of background, what kinds of experience really stand out to a company like Stripe, to stand out as a company. Now, it may, like, some of the conversation may be specific to Stripe, but I think a lot of the conversation is going to be a little more generic in nature around like, how do you just talk about the value that you bring to a company? That's what this whole stream is about, is like, how do we talk about that? How do we promote ourselves around the idea of, this is what I can do, this is the impact that I can have on your team? Like, whether it's through the resume or whether it's through the interview process, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the stuff I like to chat about here on the stream. And we're going to be going through Assad and their kind of background. We'll learn a little bit about their background, how they got into tech, how they got their job at Stripe, and then we'll dive in on like what makes somebody stand out at Stripe. I almost went through their interview process. I don't know whether to bring this up with Assad on Sunday or not, but they had a pretty grueling interview process, and I decided not to go through it because it was going to be like 8 hours of interviews, and I was going to have to prepare like presentations with 1 hour Q&A, and it was just, I'm like, nah, I don't have time for that. Like, I need a job. I already got offers. Like, I'm not gonna jump through all those hoops. Driftwood says, we need to set up a meeting and get me on the books. Okay. Send me a direct message. We'll set something up. We'll get on a call and get you on the books. So yeah, I reached out to a whole bunch of people on Polywork, including Till, who dropped by chat. I don't know, Till, if you're still here. but reached out to a bunch of folks on Polywork, and a lot of people responded. They're like, I would love to be on your stream. And we had a conversation, and so I set up a Calendly link to have people sign up, and everything just kind of went a little haywire, and like tons of people started signing up. So my calendar is full now. But as I mentioned, that doesn't necessarily mean that that everybody's still around. So, oh, you're still here? Cool. So yeah, so Till was going to be a guest on the stream tonight, but it didn't work out. Do I have a video about how I set up my office? Looks super neat, like a behind the scenes. My behind the scenes would be really messy. You see the clean sort of part of it. If I move my chair out of the way, you'll see how I kind of huddle everything on the desk to sit right behind my chair so you don't see the mess. I mean, you see a little bit of wires and stuff right here, but if I move this out of the way, you see all the stuff that I hide by having my chair right here. But as far as setting this up, I mean, you can actually go back and look at the old YouTube videos where this wall used to be a really dark color, and up against the corner here, I had a cabinet with all my 3D printing filament in it, and I didn't have any lights. And then I had something on this side of the desk or on this side of the cabinet or something, and I moved that out of the way. And then I hung up a couple of lights, and it was off on an angle. And then I moved the cabinet out of the way, and I spread the lights at an angle. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to paint the wall a lighter color, so you can actually watch the evolution of the background. I've also got a green screen that I don't use. My oldest is he started an elective in school this week on film production, and he's going to be playing with green screen. I'm like, well, we got the green screen here. If you want to tinker with some stuff, we'll record on the system here. So yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's taken a while. And if anybody follows Babe Ross online, this is one of her paintings right here. I've shown that on the stream a couple times, and I have a second one coming. She did an auction on her stream when she hit. She did like a 12-hour stream or something. I think she hit enough viewers and whatnot to actually apply for partnership on Twitch, and or apply for like partner status on Twitch, and so she had the 12-hour stream and did a couple of auctions of some of her artwork and raised a ton of money. So I was super thrilled for her. So I was able to pick up another one of her paintings. So hopefully, I don't know where I might hang that one like on this wall right next to me here. We'll have to see. I'll have to see where I hang that one next. But yeah, there's not much else exciting around here other than like curved monitors and lights and stuff like that in front of me. It's not that exciting, but I can send you pictures if you really want pictures. But yeah, anyway, I've been going for about an hour and a half. Honestly, today was a little bit draining. I had a lot of work because I taught this class yesterday, and I've like taken on some additional responsibility myself at work. And so I've been actually pretty busy the last couple of days. So I think I might start to wrap up. We'll go see if we can find somebody to raid. Sam KitKat is chatting. You're fun to watch. Okay. I think we raided over to Freckle Science before. Let's see who else. There are a handful of people that I would like to go raid into. If anybody's got suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, I've got a handful of people that I would like to raid into that we can have a chat with. Try to catch me on Sunday. Awesome. Cool. Thanks for dropping by, Driftwood. Yeah, let's go. Let's see. What are they up to tonight? Yeah, I think we'll raid over here. Cool. We're gonna go hang out with Juicebox Hero. So I'm gonna go set up that raid. So join me over there. Says it's intended for mature audiences, but make some noise and chat when we get over there, and we'll catch you all on Sunday. Thanks again for hanging out. Thanks again for the questions. I'll get all these things clipped out and in the queue for YouTube and for the podcast audio. We'll see you all on Sunday. Cheers.